When you have social anxiety, people give you really stupid advice sometimes. Like, just be yourself. Just be yourself, man. What's the problem? That's what I do. I'm just myself. And it all works out. Just be yourself. Be yourself. And you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? What do you mean be my? I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what myself is. And I also don't know what does it mean, even if I know who I was, what does it mean to be myself? What does that mean? It's a nonsensical term. People just throw it out there. They're trying to be helpful. And I think that there actually is something useful underneath, but people don't usually explain what it means. What does it actually mean to be yourself? So I'm going to make this very simple for you in today's video, today's episode. I'm going to explain to you what it actually means to be yourself. Because I think the ultimate goal is in the right direction, right? You don't want to be fake. You want it to come from yourself, and you don't want to have to try too hard. You want to be you. You don't want to have to put on an act all the time. So I'm going to make it simple for you. To be yourself, what that actually means is to express what is going on in your mind and in your life. What have you been doing? What have you been thinking about? What are your opinions? What gets you excited? And express the excitement. Express emotions, negative and positive. Express what you've been thinking about. Express what you're interested in. When you're in a conversation and someone brings something up and you have an opinion about it, you might think to yourself, but they might not like that opinion. They might think that opinion is stupid. Should I say that? Should I not say that? Yes, you should. Let it out. Let's say you're about to do something over the weekend and you're really excited about it and you want to tell people, but you're afraid. But what if they think that thing I'm going to is really weird? And what if it's cringy if I'm too excited for something? I should be nonchalant and cool and just act like, whatever. My shit don't stink. Who cares? Yeah, whatever. I'm cool. Don't try to be cool. Be what you are. Express what you feel. Express what you think. That is what being yourself means. I like baseball. I talk about this a lot in my podcast. You guys know I like baseball. I get really excited when baseball comes around, and I don't hide it to anybody who's around me. That's who they know me. I'm just baseball obsessed. That's who they know me for. They know me as an obsessed baseball guy. That's who I am. I don't hide that. I used to hide it. I used to hide a lot of things about myself because I was ashamed and I was embarrassed. And this is what happens because we have shame about our interests, about what we like, about what gets us excited, what gets us curious, what gets us interested, what kind of questions we have about something. We shut those things down. We don't let ourselves ask those things because we feel ashamed. And so therefore we think other people are going to judge us. So we don't let it out. We don't let ourselves out. So instead, what we tend to do is we try to curate. We try to think, what do these type of people like? So let's say you go to a bar. This is a big generalization, but let's say you go to a bar and it's like a biker bar and it's people with leather jackets and you're going to think to yourself, well, I got to fit in with these leather jacket people. What kind of music do they like? Maybe I'll try to remember what some heavy rock metal bands that I used to listen to when I was a kid. Maybe I can connect with them on that, right? You're always trying to curate something about the social situation to try to figure out what is everybody else interested in? How can I fit myself in so that they'll accept me? Because they'll only accept me, right, if I like what they like, if I talk the way they talk, if I act the way they act. And that's not actually true. Yes, there will be some times where people will accept you for that if you're able to fake it well enough. But that's not going to last long term because eventually they're going to find out that you're faking. So what this would actually look like is going into a biker bar and telling them, I don't know, you like country music, you like rap music. It's talking about what you actually like. And not just to be confrontational either, not just to be different, but actually expressing what your interests are. That's what it means to be yourself. Now, that is scary and that is risky because people could hear what you have to say. They could hear your opinions and listen to you express your emotions and think, wow, that's weird. That's a stupid opinion. That's this, that's that. That's all very true. But we can't run from that. We can't run from that forever because then we'll never be a person and we'll be constantly on edge, judging, looking around. What's everyone else doing? How do I fit myself into this situation perfectly so that everyone will be satisfied? You do that, and that's why you're so anxious,
Because every situation you go into, you have to read the room. You have to make sure that everything that you do is perfectly calculated so that you can leave unscathed. But that's not the life we want to live anymore. We want to be judged. I know it's scary, but we have to be judged. In order to be yourself, that's what it means. I mean, you are unique in the very sense that you are the only person of you. So there's going to be something about you that's going to stand out in any group of people, no matter how much you try to fit. And if you want to hear more about this, I'm going to drop a link to an episode I made a while ago, and it's called How to Like Yourself. And this is really getting into how do you accept those things about yourself. I'm going to talk about it a little bit here in this episode, but if you want to get into a deeper dive, go check that episode out too. I think it was December something, 2024, but I'm going to drop the link in the bottom of the episode so you can check that one out. But that leads to my second point of this episode, which is that the difficulty with this, I think, for a lot of people is they don't know who they are, right? Like maybe you don't know what your interests are. You don't know what your opinions are. You don't know what to think because you've been so stuck in looking at what other people think and thinking about what other people think is the correct thing to do and to think. You don't know what your own opinions and your own beliefs are. So you kind of have to start from scratch. You have to ask yourself, when did I start giving way? When did I start giving up who I was to other people, to fit into other people? Because this can happen. You know, for a long time, I was a nerdy kid. I was really into science and math and all those things. And I just gave it up. I stopped trying because I thought it wasn't cool, even though I was really interested in those things. And that's what we can do. We become so ashamed of our interests and who we are that we drop those things. We push them away because we think to ourselves, well, I'm not getting accepted because I like these weird things and people aren't accepting me for these weird things. Let me get rid of them. Then we try to fake our way through it, and it never really works, does it? We can never really find our people because we're constantly just trying to shapeshift into the next group. So you may have to go back in time and ask yourself, what were things that gravitated to me? What were things that they just called to me? And I talk about this more in that other episode that I dropped, that our interests are not really choices, right? What you gravitate towards, your food taste, your musical taste, the things that get you excited, they're not really choices. You don't really have a say in the matter anyway, so you might as well accept it. So you have to ask yourself honestly, what are things I like? What are things that are interesting? What are things that gravitate towards me? Start to bring those things back into your life and see if you can get that excitement back. And then when you're ready, you start to express it to people. And what this looks like literally, like when you go to work, when you come into work on a Monday and someone says, what did you do this weekend? The socially anxious response is, nothing, just hung out, just chilled, nothing much. Don't do that. Tell people literally what you did. I did some creative writing this weekend. I used to be really into it and I just got back into it. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh yeah, I've been writing about sci-fi, whatever. Whatever you've been doing, you just say what you've been doing. And again, that's scary. It's risky. People can judge you. But that's okay. We want people to judge us. Because you know what that is also going to do? It's going to bring closer the people who agree with us, who like the things that we like, who share the opinions that we share. Not that we have to only have those people around. Of course, it's also good to have people in your life who are different than you, right? And so you learn how to deal with people and how to even have relationships with people who maybe have different interests and different opinions than you. That's a good thing too. But people will start to like you because you're authentic, because you're genuine. They don't feel like you're putting on a mask. They don't feel like you're faking anything. And as I said in my last episode, you're not boring anymore. The reason that we become boring when we have social anxiety is because we're constantly trying to curate this image. We're just bland. We're just the most average Joe imaginable, right? Because every situation we think to ourselves, how do I either fit in or how do I look average so people can't think of me one way or the other? We have to drop all that. We have to try to be genuinely as unique as we can. As long as we're not trying to put it on, we're not just trying to act unique or pretend like we're really something special. No, but genuinely look at yourself and ask yourself, well, what is different about me? What do I gravitate towards? What do I like? And let's share that with the world. I know it's really scary, but once you start doing it, you start to realize that people do not have the reactions that they probably maybe that they did when you were younger, when you were a kid and you got picked on because you like Pokemon cards. Okay, you start to realize there's a niche for everything, right? You can find a niche for anything that you're interested in. It's always somewhere, and eventually you will find those people. And even the people who are not super interested in the things that you are, they will appreciate and they will respect the fact that you're open and honest, and then they'll be more likely to share about themselves. And now you guys can have a full-on conversation. So now it's not just stuck. Oh, I did nothing this weekend. What'd you do? Nothing. That's why the conversation goes nowhere, because you didn't share anything. So now they're not going to share anything. So if you take that on, you start to share about what's going on in your world, in your mind, in your life, other people will start to share too. Conversations will feel easy. They'll feel comfortable. You won't feel as nervous around them. You won't feel like you have to drag them out. They're going to flow a lot better. And it's just going to start to make you feel more confident in yourself. You're going to start to realize who you are, and then you're going to start to accept those things. So again, if you want to learn more about this, you can listen to my old episode. I'm going to put it in the bottom of this episode. It's called How to Like Yourself. I think it was an episode back in December of 2024, but I'll put it at the bottom of this link, so you should check that one out. Otherwise, thanks again for tuning in. For the new people who've been following, thank you. There's been a lot of new subscribers recently. Please don't forget to share and to leave a review. The reviews really help boost the show, and I want to get this show out to as many people as I can because I want to help as many people as I can who have social anxiety. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon.